Welcome to Unhindered Soul and the Magic Within. I'm your host, Angela Gladkowski, and today we'll be speaking with Jessica Robinson, who is a psychic artist, a psychic reader, clairvoyant, a visionary artist, a spiritual teacher, and an art professor, which I'm really excited to hear about this because art is definitely something that I admire, but I haven't really practiced, so I love it. And I loved sitting next to you. Actually, I met Jessica at a psychic fair. And she just had such a beautiful energy. I felt like she should be on. So,
Thank you so much, Angela. I was enjoying your energy as well. It was very nice sitting beside you reading.
oh, thank you. So, Jessica, I just wanted to ask if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your, backgrounds and your past and where you are from to now.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I mean, I've been divining since I'm 14. I've always had an awareness that I'm psychic and clairvoyant. Also, definitely a high empath. I knew early on, that I was reading energy. I didn't really understand what was happening when I was very young, but it didn't feel scary to me because I don't know, the household I lived in was very colorful, I would say. A lot of strange happenings because it was all about what kind of artist are you? Even in my extended family, everyone played an instrument or they were a writer or some kind of artist, a fine artist. So there was a lot of different processes going on in my house. And so my dad was also a psychic reader. And my mom is psychic too, but she kind of repressed that. I think she had a lot of other things going on that she was dealing with. But my dad was really my mentor, and so he created a safe space for me to ask questions and um, and just have self discovery about it and learn because and also both my parents were English professors and writers and poets, and it really was an environment that was also very tumultuous because I had a lot of great things happening, inspiring things, but also it was pretty rough because my mom was unmedicated bipolar manic depressive. Didn't get medicated till I was 20. So, and being the oldest, um, really only have my sister that I grew up with, a few years younger than me, and then my other two siblings are a lot, spaced further away. But yeah, it was pretty rough and a lot of violence and nonsensically. And here I was, this little red-haired girl. I am redheaded actually, but and just my senses were on fire. I was having all these supernatural experiences, but like I said, it wasn't scary. It didn't seem strange to me. I have a lot of early memories, and all through my life of, say, seeing orbs and different entities appearing, either in my mind's eye or materializing. Sometimes feeling clairaudient, hearing messages, and but always feeling like claircognizant, where I just have direct knowing about things and having premonitions, a very crazy dreamscape, I would say, where literally I had different lives that I would go. I had like apartments, and where I was me, but it wasn't me, and I'd go in that. Oh, I want to go visit that part of my world there. But something that was very inspiring for me was nature, because I grew up in Rocky Point, across the street from the beach, from the Long Island Sound, and you could see the lights of Connecticut from my living room and my parents' bedroom. And it was the trees and the wind and the storms rolling in and out, the bluffs and the water. And so I sought a sanctuary and refuge, really, in the woods. I was a real tomboy, and I would have these psychic experiences in the woods. And also, what it did was, growing up in that type of environment where it was up, it was down. I never knew like when the storm was going to hit in a bad way with my mom. Then I had my dad counteracting because he was all about magic. My dad was like, made everything magical, and he was a big inspiration with magic. And my mom was magical too. I mean, very talented, but that ticking time bomb feeling, it was a lot of high anxiety. So my dad taught me like deep meditation techniques and biofeedback so I could feel in control. I was taught the body mind connection and the power of that at a very young age. It was a survival tool, really. And then I took that to a few different places in my life, that I felt connected to, which was one was out in nature. So I would feel meditative. I felt like I was attracted to vortexes of psychic energy where I would have my little ghost friends. Oh, I'm going to go ride my bike and visit that one and hang out on the bluff. And whatever it was I was doing, I was having these experiences. And then another way I felt super meditative and having this spiritual experience and feeling magical was with my art, because I clung to that. So I was either out in nature or then I was turning inward, and I would go I learned about, traveling through layers of consciousness, going down to your deepest self, which I like to call your crypto conscious self, where your secret garden, your spiritual garden resides, and only you have the key. So I would travel there when I was creating, and one of the beautiful things about my environment, like I was saying, was like books were spilling off the shelves, and my parents were writing, and we're all doing something artistic. And so, the creative process was revered and nourished. It was a very nourishing environment for that. Now, while all this is happening, and I'm creating art, which felt very magical because I could that was another thing where I found my magic. When you can breathe life into something, the whole feeling and idea of conjuration, how conjuration works, setting the wheels in motion, and you're creating it. I mean, it's so powerful. I literally still do feel like when I'm creating something, I'm Frankensteining it. Like there's lightning bolts coming down, and I'm just, you're in your flow state. There's nothing more beautiful than that. That and pure love. I mean, I feel like that's what fuels you and fuels me. Um, and yeah, so some of the interesting supernatural experiences I want to tell you about that I was having. Um, my parents owned the first built home in Port Jefferson, and they rented it out, divided into apartments, and there was this big two-story barn on the property, and this creepy barn, and my sister and I would go play on the second floor of it. And about a handful of times, I had this experience where we'd be playing, and my little sister isn't psychic, so I didn't let her know any of this was going on. I didn't want to freak her out. But there was this little girl ghost, and she was in turn of the century dress, and beautiful wavy thick blonde hair, about maybe 10 years old, and this white satin dress with a powder blue sash. And she just had this energy. It wasn't scary to me. It just she stepping out of the shadows and the eaves, and she just wanted to watch us play and feel part of it. And I just, she's sort of like one of my little ghost friends. It wasn't till many years later, I was then a young adult in my 20s, and I was having a conversation with my dad, and we were talking about that house, and he's like, "Oh, remember that little girl ghost?" And he described her to a T. And he's like, and she'd always be up in the window waving goodbye to us, which she was. I'd wave at her as we drove off. He was having the same similar experience that I was with this. It didn't surprise me. It was exciting, of course, to get that affirmation, but I was so psychically connected with my dad, um, that we would just think of each other and the phone would ring. So, that was something else that I remember having a very pivotal memory when I was like 10 and I went to 4 H camp. I made this friend, and this was when I learned about how you could be like your frequencies with someone else. The way energy can work that way can be so perfectly aligned that you are on, like, you can have telepathy. So I made this friend, and we just kind of organically went to a deck of cards. It just naturally flowed out that we wanted to have this adventure together. And we began holding up the cards and just concentrating on the color and the card and all of it, the number, and one after another, spot on, back and forth, you go, perfect alignment with, we were just so psychically connected. So that was magical. Um, Another pivotal thing I wanted to tell you about was when I was 14, my whole family was in a terrible car accident. And in that car accident, I actually broke my back, but I didn't know it till 15 years later. They didn't think to x-ray my back. So I had like all these back issues, which now I know why. But
Wow.
so my mom, though, shattered 5 vertebrae. She was really hurt. We all got hurt. And back then it was just a big open, like a cargo van. So no seat belts or anything, except my little brother, who was only 4 months old. Thank God. He was in a baby seat. But what happened was I lost consciousness and I came out of my body. I had my first fully conscious astral projection. And after that happened, I was like, Dad, what was that? I mean, it was a traumatic experience the way it happened, but it was pure magic because I had already been exploring uh, and experiencing the idea of there being other dimensions, parallel worlds, um, you know, uh, all of those things. Reading books called like, A House Between Two Worlds and The Mists of Avalon, and all these, the Time Machine, H.G. Wells, all of these things that were sparking my imagination. And then I wanted to be like, well, I want to be in control. I want to know what that is and how to do it again. So my dad explained that's astral projection and your actual body. This is just your physical body is just a vehicle for your astral body, and your ethereal, your soul itself comes out, and you can travel on the astral plane. And whoa, okay. So that opened a huge portal of magic for me because I began thirsting for knowledge and reading every book I could find, going back to the pioneers of parapsychology, Hereward Carrington and Sylvan Muldoon, the guys who created the idea of noetic science. They want to prove this stuff. They want to validate it and share the magic with the world. Raise everyone's awarenesses and let you know you can do it too. You have to learn how to tap in and believe it, and then you can embrace that and have that tool in your belt. So I learned about astral projection. I held all these experiments. I honed skills by myself and with dad, and remote viewing, telepathy, astral projection, divination. I was That was also a pivotal time because 14, my dad gave me my first set of runes, and showed me how to use them. He had his set, and my set is our sets are very specific and different. It has like an ode to the Viking era for sure, but my set only has 8 symbol tiles, and it has a lot of different methodologies infused in them. It's got Wicca insight, planetary and harmonic and color energy. It has Roman Greco methodology in it, so it's got a lot of things interwoven. But it all works where your energy, is aligning. And as I'm channeling in meditation, and then I receive these psychic visions and messages. I write those down. And then the person's holding the runes or I'm holding for them. And, it gets thrown out and it falls in alignment, with what we've just raised to the surface. So, it's like all this magic coursing through. And that's a lot of my memories that I just had fun sharing with you.
I love it. I mean, I'm just fascinated. I really am. So you were very blessed to be able to experience this at a very young age, as opposed to most people who really either were repressed or, oh yeah, it's just, you're not really seeing that. You just, a lot of people that I speak to have experienced that. So it's actually a pleasure to hear that that your dad encouraged it, and because he was experiencing it and he knew what that you were open and you were seeing it, what you were seeing, or you know, so that's really amazing. So I would say like your first moment, I usually ask your first moment, but I don't even know if there was a first moment for you really that you realized it was, because it was just so natural in some ways. But when did you really realize that you were different than, as far as being raised how you are, than other people, like as far as being encouraged to use the room, use all of this, all these gifts and all these things that you have.
I would say, I my awarenesses were raised, but that it was unusual. But we also had a lot of friends and family that were, like I said, either kind of the kooky artists, swept up in their process of creating, uh, and so divination didn't really seem so strange. Also, my dad was a New England boy. He grew up in Massachusetts, Beverly, and I still have all my relatives on my dad's side, in Salem, Peabody, Lynn, Beverly, Massachusetts. And I grew up going to the Salem Witch Museum, and
It's
it felt like home. It just,
right. It's normal.
yeah, like it was normal. I even have a cousin who's a Salem psychic. So it it's in that way it was very normal, and it just seemed like another tool in my belt. It felt like a skill. I think as I got older, I wasn't as much in that sheltered bubble of that's your world growing up. um, I think that then I had a greater understanding that it was unusual, that it was really, yes, it's I think of it as a skill, but it's also really, it is a gift. It's a
Such a
gift for
gift.
sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree. I agree. I mean, I love it all. So I don't know where to begin with this. So I would say that, and it's funny because as you were speaking, before you even said it, I felt like it was a very old piece of property, and there was a lot of energy on there. Like you said, a lot of spirits and a lot of. It just felt like it felt really like that. And as far as the tumultuous, when people create, it sometimes, all those people creating at once sounds like it was a lot. And but beautiful that you were encouraged to open up and you know we channel that, right? We channel the um the for your art. I'm sure. Do you feel it's channeled, or is it something that you can open up and pull? I don't know. It's almost like I see like you're pulling from different places and creating
yeah,
that. Like you were saying Frankenstein, it was almost like pulling from this and pulling from that and pulling from this. That's what I'm
yes,
seeing for you.
right.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah,
Very,
it's
very
beautiful,
insightful.
and that's nice. That's really nice that you got to experience that. And I can understand the grounding part, like you said, if having somebody that, and there's positives and negatives to having someone in your life when you're growing up, like a parent that, you said your mom was very tumultuous, but probably helped you develop your gifts in some ways, even more because you had to be aware. You had the knowing, you had the feeling, whatever, all of it. I experienced that with my dad, so I never realized that I always had to be aware of the energy of the room, and the energy of what's coming in. So it's just like anything else, like you said, we all have it, but like sounds like you've honed it because when you kind of almost did practice with your friend with those cards, right? Like you were
Right,
kind of practicing, and that's what we do in a class. It's
right,
not People understand it's not learning how to become a psychic medium. It's more of just understanding what you're feeling and just kind of um like anything else. Like when obviously when you're doing your art, you weren't born just knowing. You practiced it, you
right,
did it, and then obviously you went to school and learned even more, maybe like your natural techniques, and then learn the more techniques that way. So I love it. I love your whole story. I knew it. I knew as soon
oh,
as I met you. I said you are so magical,
oh, thank
and
you
I
so.
felt like you just had to experience, like, share this with everyone.
Oh, thank you.
um So let's see. So obviously, we spoke about how it affected your life, but how did it change your life did it change your life in any way when you kind of realized the privilege of how you grew up with experiencing magic and having your father very encouraging and all of that?
um yeah, I mean, I think something you were just saying, it was very insightful because uh what the way I grew up, I did have to do for myself, So it was about understanding at a very young age that I'm powerful, and I know who I am. I had to do those deep grounding techniques. I literally remember standing in the woods, like say at 9 years old, and comforting myself and empowering myself and saying, you know who you are. You're Jessica. You know who you are, and letting myself love myself. So that's what I really enjoy doing when I'm helping people. And it's that process of whether it's channeling energy for them that's going to, shine the light of insight, and also teach them that they can do this for themselves, right? Empower them so they understand what powerful beings they are, and that they can create their own reality and choose to let the light come in rather than any darkness, so. And then also what you were asking about, like my experience with in the creative process with art, this is something I really have been embracing, especially in the past couple of years, is I'm a live artist. So, and I call that creating psychic art, especially when I'm doing it, because I'm literally channeling and transmuting psychic energy into art. So I think that even at whatever age it was when I was starting to feel that, like you were saying, pulling from here, pulling from there, that's exactly now because I've experienced growth and I've educated myself and I understand better what's happening when my process is occurring. But that's exactly it. I'm channeling this. I'm pulling from here. So I've been doing this in a few different ways, and it's been very exciting. Um, so I'm creating an original 33 card oracle right now called the Blue Rose Oracle. And each time I create one of these pieces where I'm having this channeling psychic experience, that's definitely another card, another card. So it's been happening in very organically, which is what I needed because it's a very big project. It could feel a little like too much, but now that I kind of let go, I needed to let go of the structure. I had a structured idea of how I was going to create it, but the way it needed to happen took over. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I understand that. Yes.
yes. So basically, sometimes I want to create where I'm channeling music because I've always felt very connected with music. I'm an ecstatic dancer. I love feeling the movement and letting it flow out and all of that. And so when I'm creating art, I'll literally. My husband's in a bunch of different bands, so I especially like it when I'll go to one of his shows, and then whatever channel I need to access will come through. For example, a dragon needed to come out at this Dio show that I went to, where he was playing. But yeah, it kind of just flows out. So I'm transmuting that musical energy. Sometimes I'll just do it. It's called a plein air, where I'm out in nature. And I especially love it when there's a storm rolling in because that energy, it feels so amazing. And then I don't know what's going to flow out. It's super exciting. It's a creative adventure. And just the whole idea of embracing your imagination, that's taking it to a whole other realm of magic, which I always have enjoyed opening that portal up. And then I also create the third way I usually will do it where I'm channeling is I'll go to like a psychic vortex, a place that has all this psychic layered energy, and it's a known haunted place, for example. If you want to term it like that, and that's super exciting. I'm actually working on a painting right now, and I channeled this white mare, this horse, and I know she lived on this property. This I was doing this event where I was giving readings, also selling and creating art, and I was channeling creating this psychic piece of art. And the farm was super haunted. It was rich in Revolutionary War history. It used to be the center of the Culper Spiring that Washington used, and it went back to the 1600s when the Nisqually Indians inhabited it. It was like, wow, it was powerful. It was so powerful there. So I started to paint this white horse, and she came to me through the woods. It was right on St. James Harbor. And I needed to work more on it once I got home. So that's what I've been working on. And then the owner of the farm felt very drawn to it. She was watching me paint it from across the meadow. And she came over and she started sharing her memories of growing up there. And ironically, she said she was always afraid of horses, and there were always horses roaming the grounds. And
Oh,
and now she lives in a converted horse stable or something. So she
oh,
was feeling very connected with my painting. Oh, I had another experience that was very cool where I got invited to create art live atop this skyscraper overlooking Times Square, and
oh,
it was a mental health conference. I actually just I co-wrote a chapter for a mental health book just to help people, feel strengthened in that way. Because goodness knows I have a lot of experience with how to deal with that. But yeah, so what I did was I went to their little party the next night in this beautiful place. I literally had the powerful energy of the Empire State Building staring down at me through the window right onto my painting. And there was
Wow.
someone who was one of the guest speakers, and I guess there was some kind of connection happening. And she kept coming over to the painting. She's like, I feel like you're painting my portrait. And she wound up
Really?
buying it from me actually that night. And she
Wow.
flew home to India with it. And I felt really honored that, you know, because she really loved it. And like I gave her a gift. So that was a beautiful way that it came through when I was channeling. So I never really quite know what's going to happen, but I've really been enjoying creating that way and also sharing that with my students because although I've been a college art professor, um, I I like to teach psychic art more now in that type of environment. Where
That
I
seems
help
to
people
happen.
open their creative and intuitive portals and do a guided meditation, and then I help them create, bring their vision to life. It's healing. It's therapeutic. I feel it helps people a lot.
Oh, I agree with that. I have a niece we have a niece, who is a social worker, and she also uses art to help people too. So it's
Nice.
beautiful. Yeah. I feel like you said it kind of helps you. I don't know, I feel like when you do art, you kind of like still for a moment, right? And you kind of like channeling and then you need to pour that onto the paper or the whatever you're doing, the canvas, whatever it is. Um, but wow, it's funny. I was going to ask you how did it change others around you, like family and friends, by using your magic, and kind of said it a little bit by doing your live art. That woman connected with that piece of art and kind of took it with her, and now she looks at that, I'm sure, and feels what she's feeling from
Yeah.
it, which sounds like a beautiful feeling she gets from it. Otherwise, she would have bought it. And also the lady on the horse farm, it kind of maybe made her think about and connect with horses a little more, right? Obviously, she was very connected, right? Um,
Right.
I I love how you bring it. I mean, that's something I would think of to go to a place like that, like where it has a lot of energy and paint, you know? That's really cool. I love all of that. I just everything that you said. It's just I'm fascinated. I think I'm kind
Oh,
of speechless because I'm just like, wow, this is so cool.
oh,
I
thank
knew
you
it
so
though.
much.
There's so much. You just have so much. And it's funny because a lot of people in this spiritual community have been teachers and then they kind of turn it in and use it for now their spiritual part, spiritual. I want to say spiritual life. I feel like it's always been there, but it's just when you're ready to use it that way, right? Like now you enjoy doing that more, you said, and I can see that. So it's almost like you had this skill and now you're changing it into something else, transitioning it into something more magical.
Oh, thank you so much. I always felt like my creative and intuitive portals were interwoven, but I'd say about maybe 10 years ago, I just felt like they needed to really completely joined together. And it just needed to happen. It was something that I needed to do for me, in a healing way for myself, which is what I like to tell a lot of my clients is, do the soul nourishing things, replenish the well, and listen to what your own intuition, and have faith in that, believe in yourself, and that's what I've really been enjoying helping people. Uh, like I was saying, just understand that they can guide themselves. They can help themselves in ways they're limitless. They're powerful. And I do believe that we all have a set of paths specific to us to choose from, but we have the power to navigate ourselves down that best path. We just have to figure out our formula and sometimes, just allow ourselves to let go of whatever expectation that how we thought it should go, um, because there's so many more adventures and exciting things that are lying there in store for you. If you just, I like to say, be like the reed and bend in the wind. Just let yourself feel swept up in it and trust. Really, you know better than anybody. You know
Yeah,
yourself and you know your life, and you have to understand how worthy you are of living that best life and feeling like your highest self. So that's what I've been enjoying doing. And I'm having a lot of adventures myself, meeting so many
oh,
beautiful, interesting people like
yes,
you.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's inspiring. It's everyone has their own way of their own process, own way of doing things and understanding their own formulas, and we're all unique, right? That's something that I definitely always have enjoyed understanding is authenticity, and how we need to uplift each other because we're all different and we're all amazing. So we should just uplift each other and support each other and put that love out there just purely. It all comes back anyway and just feels so good when it returns.
I agree with that for
Yeah,
sure. It
yeah, that's
does.
definitely it. When I was a kid, also, I remember what felt magical and powerful were, my dad embraced this. It was really the only time we gathered as a family to watch a show was the Muppet Show. And just you can breathe life into anything if you have the power of imagination and you believe. You believe with
Mm,
conviction that this is real. You can create worlds and realms and realities. eh, Fantastic, right? Like
yeah.
just that whole idea of something being anthropomorphic. And I carry that over into my own work because I'm not just a realist when I'm creating artistically, I'm also a surrealist. So it's just being able to understand that world, cross over into it, come back. I don't think that time is linear. That's something that I've been really understanding deeper and deeper. Just that whole understanding of how energy works. That was something I have a lot of gratitude for the way I grew up too, because the way energy works was understood. Like my dad practiced qigong, and I took karate and just the whole idea. And I, like I said, I didn't know what the word was, empath, but I was reading the energy in a room. I was absorbing it too, which wasn't always so good.
Mm,
At least now I understand better. You
protect
got to
yourself.
put that psychic field of
Yes,
protection
you
up.
do.
Yeah. Something else that I always find so magical: colors,
Mm,
right? And just that understanding of, I don't know if you ever had a picture of your aura taken, but that colors are always emanating. Emotion and our is energy and frequencies, and so are colors, and that's a way you can harmonize. Like I
yeah,
practice color therapy all the time. I have different colored bottles with lights in them if I need some purple, or I need it to be red, or I'll paint. I'll help people do that when I'm teaching them in the meditation. What colors need to flow through? What colors need to balance you out now? And then put yourself in that psychic colored light of protection, and then let immerse yourself in it. Put it in your world, either by creating it, letting it flow out, or anything. Wearing the color, eating the color. I mean, whatever you need to do. But that was something I always felt fascinating, and that I learned about were auras. And
mm,
and that when I create a piece of art, I feel like I'm putting so much psychic energy into it. An original piece of art that you've put all this love and energy into, it has an aura, and
oh
that and,
yeah,
that, and that's
and an
why,
energy. Yeah.
right? And that's why with all this technology and stuff, like it's
Mm,
interesting. There's no replacement. There
uh-uh.
is none.
I
We
agree.
cannot replace an
I so
original
agree.
piece of art, and putting your pen to paper and writing a poem. I grew up in a house where, from as long as I can remember, because my dad was a poet laureate in two different counties. Like this was serious poetry writing in my house. Like, okay, we're gonna go write our poem, and then after we'd all write our poetry, it was let's get in the car and drive somewhere and read it to an audience of people. Go to poetry reading.
Really?
Yeah, I was a
Wow.
little girl reading my poem to a crowd of people,
Huh.
and it felt powerful. It
Yeah.
was like, and it was a release, just the way I was releasing in my art, or I'm releasing in the woods, or I'm doing whatever, all the different ways I've been describing. That's pure magic, right?
Yeah. It really is. I just like I'm like it's just so different from how I grew up because it was a different it was I mean I didn't even myself I didn't realize what I was doing until I was much older. And then I kind of didn't want to touch that. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to. And then, later on it just came. There was no denying it anymore. But I just love how your dad was very like, encouraging with all of that, with creating and then now you're going to use it. Now you're going to actually show people, which is nice because sometimes people create, but they don't show anyone. Like and as you were saying earlier, saying about, creating things, or maybe having these ideas, but you have to take those steps to kind of like put it out or make it happen. With
Right.
the Muppets, like we all have, and I know so many times I'm like, why didn't I create the post-it? Like I could have done that. I mean,
Right.
all those kind of things. And we have these ideas, but then we don't do them. I have a friend that owns, one of my best friends owns a diners, more than one. And she's so creative with everything. But she actually does it. Not everything because she has a lot of ideas, but that's the difference. I always wonder like why are some people where they are and others aren't? And it is that one of the reasons is that they don't follow their intuition, they don't follow their creativity and kind of like, and even myself, I'm not just saying it about other people. I do it myself. I finally, and it's funny because I've learned now that I'm in this space of connecting with my spirituality and accepting it and opening up because I was so contained for so long that it's like coming out. And I think if I let it out completely, I would be overwhelmed. So I kind of let it out slowly. And that's
Yep.
why I created this, this whole, I felt like I was supposed to, and I followed it and I did it. But I always, and I know when it's going to happen because and I don't do it on purpose. It's almost like my spirit guides are speaking through me and they'll say something like to other people and then I'm like now I have to do it because I said it, right? And now so that's what makes me take the steps. It pushes me to
Right.
do what I'm supposed to do. And they've done it every time. I also have a private it's just people that like only friends and then friends of friends. It's called the Spiritual Gathering for Light, and it's once a month we gather and we kind of talk about something, whether it's health, because I'm also a health coach, or we'll talk about spiritual things or different methods. Like we just spoke about IET, which is integrative energy therapy, which
Mm.
was so interesting and, a different kind of like Reiki, but different. They do it differently. And then we do a meditation and we send healing love and light out to wherever it's needed, whether it's people, whether it's, a place. And I don't know if you know Pat Longo. I was in her class and I said
Oh,
it.
wow.
I said it and then I had to do it. I'm like, oh, now I had. So that's how it started. That was the
Yes.
first, because I said, oh, I'm going to do this
Yes.
because I feel like it's needed. And then I had to.
Right. That's right.
So,
You conjuration. You set the wheels in motion.
right. I didn't mean to. And I'm like, who just said that? Like, who said, because that wasn't me. I'm like, I know it was me, but it wasn't. And the same thing
Right.
with this. I just knew I created my Unhindered Soul LLC. And then I knew I wanted to eventually do something like this, but I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And I
Oh,
finally just took those little steps and, it led me to where we are, right?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just feel like it's really important for people to see this and to like it's such a beautiful thing, as I'm doing more interviews, I can see how each person is so different yet similar because we all have the same intention.
Right.
We were saying before, it's about like empowering people and then seeing their own magic and then the love. And I was going to say earlier because I experienced it also. I feel like the traumas that we um go through and that we learn through can transition into something that is powerful and that you are able to now help somebody else. And I love that you use that. You use your own experiences, and that's really sadly, it's yeah, but it's not. Unfortunately, that's I think why we went through them so that we can help others because this is what you're meant to do, right? This obviously
Absolutely.
is where you're meant to teach, you're meant to guide, and you're very creative and explore. You love to explore, and you're very open, and you're very like for me, I always feel like I've always been very open to things that I'm not familiar with. So I mean, I think that's the first step
Right.
to kind of understanding other people and understanding things. And you've definitely been there for a long time, since you're little. Your dad was very like that, and he taught you to be like that and allowed you to be like that, I should say.
Yes.
Um, where, like I said, a lot of people haven't. And so it's interesting to see. And again, when you were speaking earlier, I kept picturing all of us at Kristen's fair. Kristen Tinsley had a fair, and that's where I
Yes.
met Jessica. And I was sitting next to her. But each one of us was so different. Whereas
Mhm.
sometimes you go to a fair and everybody's the same, like we're all in this, kind of, I don't know, same kind of group, right? But I
Yes.
feel like everybody was so different there. But yet you all had the same purpose. We all wanted to give readings and to let, connect people either with their loved ones or give them what they needed to help their journey,
Yeah.
and did it in so many different ways, like it's just beautiful. I really think that's beautiful and inspiring. And I I always feel like I love to shine the light on everyone because we're all so different, and to see how you are so different yet than me, and maybe I'm so different from somebody else, and we each offer something to people that is healing. And because we're doing our work, we're doing what we're supposed to do, we're being the channel, but we're doing our own work too, shadow work and uncovering those traumas. And when we do that, we become a clearer channel, and we also understand more so that we can help others, and it's not really our job. And one thing I learned doing health coaching, and I've said this before, because when I was doing my health coaching, I wanted to help everyone. And I'm like, why aren't they listening? Why aren't they understanding that this is they need? But I learned that we each have our own journey, and we're all responsible for ourselves. Like the work that we do is just to kind of help them on their journey and maybe give them something that maybe can empower them, like you said, and then, or understand or give insight to. And then it's their job. So I've learned to kind of just put it out there, just like this video, right? This podcast, and let it go. And it's going to go where it's supposed to. And we don't even realize such a ripple effect of what we do. I mean, I feel like you might because you're also a teacher and you understand that. But I don't even think we can imagine that so much. Just like when we channel love, like for me, I know when I've channeled and done readings with people with loved ones, and I just get a little tiny piece of that love, and I'm like, like it's just so overwhelming. And I know it's
Right.
like a pinprick of what really love is, and
Yes.
it's just so amazing and almost like just beautiful. And I'm just grateful to be where I am now and to meet people like you and to help. It helps me grow. And as far as I don't know about you, but I know for me, each time I read someone, and I kind of feel like you do too, because you kind of said it a little bit. You were speaking about that, but each person that we read, we learn from, or
Yeah.
even the messages that come through, we learn. So
Yes.
each time, so we're actually learning and getting things out of this too as we help others.
Absolutely.
It's just so
Absolutely.
amazing.
And
I'm
like
so
I was
lucky.
saying, and like I was saying before we were talking before we came on together, thank you so much, for creating this podcast and to be talking about magic with people because it's a gift for people to have their awarenesses raised about magic. And I definitely feel alignment with you about the need to do that and to get that out there and to help people with that concept, and that's one of my focuses for sure as well. And there's nothing better than when you've helped someone. I do custom sessions too where I'll basically whatever the person's feeling like they intuitively need help with, I'll include a psychic reading. I integrate a lot of different things. I even started using this beautiful, I went thrifting. I'm a big thrifter because I have some psychometric abilities for sure, because it's literally like what object is calling to me to feel the stories in it and maybe bring it home with me. But I found this deck of cards and it has these beautiful art house photos on it. I'm like, this is an oracle. So like now I'm integrating that and along with creating my own oracle. But basically, it's raising people's awarenesses of this magic that exists within themselves. And
Yes.
there's nothing better than hearing one of my clients say, oh my God, like I needed that. I feel so much better now. And also I love that was spot on. That always makes me feel great. But just like that, they understand you. And not only does that feel good, but guess what? You can do that for yourself.
Right.
Make sure you're doing that for yourself, and just understanding the process of how manifestation works, like putting yourself in that sensory moment, like it's already happening. Like you were talking about when you were in a Pat's class, right? Like you spoke the words and then you realize, well, I'm in it. Like I've
Now I
begun
have
it.
to.
That's
I'm
it,
like, who?
right?
I almost was like, like, wait, did I just say that?
It
Well,
needed
sometimes
to
I'll
come
say it,
out.
and then afterwards, I'm like, what did I just do? Like, what? You know, and at the time, I'm like so confident. And I'm like, what did I just do? What did I?
Yeah.
Who said that? Like,
I love
why
it.
did I say that?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's it's definitely our spirit guides pushing us because and I always know and when I get that kind of feeling, I know I have to do it. This is what I'm supposed to do. And then I just even if it takes a little longer, it's okay. I've learned to just let it be and take its time, just like you were speaking about your oracle cards. You kind of like as you go along, and I feel like that's another thing. You know, we always want to make these things perfect, right? We want it to be perfect. And like you said, you had a whole thing of how lineup of how you wanted to do things. You know, you had a whole that's not how it's supposed to be, right?
Right,
And
right.
you need to let go of that and just
Hmm.
create and enjoy it because when you do that, and that's what I'm feeling too.
Yeah.
This is a message for you. I don't know. I'm getting a, I want to read, I feel like I need to read, but it's like when you do it this way, you're going to infuse that energy into these cards of the moment that you actually pulled. Because I see
That's
you
right.
pulling that particular meaning and or message and
Right.
it's just gonna make it more even more magical. I'm so
Oh, I love
excited.
that.
I can't wait for to see this to see
Oh,
the
thank
deck and
you.
I'm excited for you. You know, when we do these things and we look around and we're like, wow, like you kind of after you do it, you're like, wow, I that's pretty amazing that I was able to do this, right? To get to this point. Like never thinking that maybe you would do that one day. You know, it's
Mhm.
not maybe something that was in your or maybe it was. Maybe it's something that you just always knew that you were going to do, but you just didn't know when that was going to happen, and now it's
Right.
here. You know, that's
Exactly.
really exciting. That's really exciting.
Oh, thank you.
And I see you writing. Do you write books also?
I am a writer. I definitely consider myself. I do some editing for people sometimes. I was telling you I wrote a chapter in this book on mental health. I'm excited about that. I wrote that with my dear friend Elle Pellegrino. So we told our stories, about how we aligned with different childhood trauma and how we, experienced spiritual growth and learned survival skills and tapped into our power and then carried that over to our spiritual work and what we do with helping people just tap into their own power. And no matter what trauma or hardship you've been through, whatever obstacles that you encounter, you can surmount it. You can do it. You can find a way because progress is never straight up, right?
No.
Progress is it's the journey.
Like
it's
the waves,
it's the journey. Spiritual
and
growth.
not
And
easy either.
no.
It can be really it's a lot, and that's why sometimes you just have to take those little I always say this, and the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and you have to take that little, like, crack that little shell of that
Right.
you created around you. Will have right, and when you crack that little shell and you take the little pieces off, and like when you do an egg, when you crack an egg and it's not going to come off in one piece, you just want to because it's more gentle that way. Sometimes that's what you need because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's something that you've been holding on to, whether we realize it or not. And when you kind of open that little space, it allows it to trickle out and then transition it, and understands it. And you know that, like for me, I think one of the most powerful things that I've learned is trauma that I had when I was little with with my dad, um, has transitioned into something that has helped me, like I said, help others and also just understand that things like that um, help you in the end in some ways. Not that
Right.
it's nobody wants to go through it, and I'm not saying it's great, but when we get to this point where we're kind of looking at it differently and seeing
Yeah,
it for not just negative but also positive,
that's right.
it
Yeah.
helps you become stronger. You wouldn't have done what you did.
Right.
You empowered yourself by learning that method of going into nature and that's one of the things we teach in health coaching is earthing, which is what you probably did. I just see you gathering a lot of that energy from the earth and just pulling it up and out and then around you and kind of finding that solace in it, solace in it, I should say. So solace in
Oh,
it. That's the word I kept I
thank-
literally saw the word and I'm like, wait. But yeah, that's what I feel like. Beautiful, beautiful. And obviously, how does it show up in the work that you do and transition to the people that come to you, like your clients? You were saying that you empower them and you kind of see how it helps. And, everybody connects to something different. So like teaching them your method of how you dealt with your, trauma, your stress at the moment. Maybe somebody else connects with tapping and somebody else connects with breath work and some, you know what I mean? It's
right.
just or
Yes.
maybe all of it, maybe all of that, learning all of that and using it at different times for different things. So it's just, I don't know. Do you feel like you've changed like any family? I mean, I feel like you have a lot of family that's obviously, or friends that are doing the same work as you, obviously, or growing up that way. But have you had family and friends that aren't familiar with it, and has it changed them in any way? Or maybe now that you're very more vocal about it, or more use it more, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's not that many people that in my family that are, I think, educated about psychic stuff per se. I mean, I definitely feel like I think that they're intrigued. They're very intrigued. So, like now that I am where I am in my life, and doing it on the level that I've been doing it, where with any sort of skill, gift, ability, the more you do it, you become like you're on fire with it. Like you're
Right.
honing your skills, right?
Yeah.
So the point that I'm at now, I definitely feel like the family members that uh, not it's not for everyone to want to
No.
gain the insight, and that's so the family members that are coming to me, and even friends, family members, and I also get just on the client level, just people that, okay, they have their need, they're feeling drawn because they need information, and we're falling in alignment with each other, so they're kind of finding their way. So it's kind of same with the families and the friends,
Yeah.
whoever feels like that's what they want to do to empower themselves to have that insight. I mean, I think it's an amazing tool to have to gain the insight. And some people don't want to have their awarenesses raised so much. And then there are the people that, how there are some people and they're not on the same vibrational level. They're kind of
Right.
going through life and they're not feeling things deeply. They're not living like a colorful life, and I welcome having those people come and then raise that awareness. Like that's a pretty huge portal to open up. Like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, guess what? Like, just notice how the light falls on your unmade bed and the drapery. Like, there's
Yes.
beauty in everything.
Oh
You
my
know,
gosh.
I,
Yes.
I, I remember that's the thing that always inspired me and still continues to. Like, I'm an avid seashell collector. I go hunting for the seashells, and
My
um,
daughter too.
oh
And
yeah,
rocks. She
I
loves
love it.
rocks.
And I'm so inspired. My friend Frank inspired me because I immerse myself in the land and tap into my mermaid side and the world of seashells and all of the beautiful patterns, and I feel so connected to them. And he's like, you should make yourself a set of runes with do seashell
Oh, yeah.
divination. So I'm in the process of creating some seashells to use for divination to have as something to integrate. I'm very excited about that.
I
So
love
like you're
it.
always growing and learning and letting yourself feel influenced and inspired, and I feel like also, and I'm sure you would agree, there are certain people that you're meant to have your paths connect. You're
Yes.
meant to have that person be shiny in your world for you and make you feel that much shinier because
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like it. So yeah, I mean, I've been having, like I was saying, some really beautiful experiences with people that I've been learning from and that I needed to learn from and have that experience. And like you were pointing out, even clients, it's like I often find myself, I'll be saying something so sagely, and I realize, now turn it inward, Jessica. Now,
Yes. And now
like
you do it. That's
Do it for
exactly it.
yourself. Like you're
Yeah,
saying these words, not just for the reason of helping that person, but like it needed to come out because that's what you need to heal yourself with right now. Like seriously, you
exactly.
do,
It's always like that though, and
Yeah.
you don't realize
Right.
it, right? And yeah, I just love it. Or even with my health coaching, I'll say things and I'm like, yeah, it reminds me, like, yeah, Angela, you should be doing that too. Like, or you should be doing that again, because it might be something that I've done and I just do it again. Because it's so easy with all the things that go on around you to kind of like, kind of go in and out of that. Like, see, sometimes you just so caught up with like doing the next thing or life, or because I
Right.
work full time and then I do this also. It's a
Wow.
lot.
Yeah.
And so it's a good reminder for me to be like, take a moment, eat healthier, make sure you exercise, make sure you do meditations, because I find that, you always, and it's important. It's important to connect. I know for me, when I connect, it's just such a peaceful feeling. It's just an amazing feeling when I connect with, um, you know, it's spirit, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
And it's so amazing. And for myself, I've realized well, I was surprised at how many people in my life that aren't in the spiritual world, I'm going to say, my friends from years and years, that they were so like accepting and understanding. I was kind of afraid to tell them a little bit, especially my one friend, and she's one of my biggest supporters. And
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah, and I'm so grateful because that's really what it's all about. I don't sometimes people think it's like woo woo and oh it's scary, but no, it's how you look at it. It's like anything. You want to look at the negative side, you're going to look at the negative.
Right.
But for
Exactly.
me, it's just beautiful. And you know, like I said, it's helping me do my work.
Hmm.
Um and grow and learn. And like you said, even just looking at the way the light is shining through a window at something and appreciating that. I was remember I was a couple of months ago I was doing a psychic circle, and on the way there I just kept looking at the leaves and the trees and just how beautiful and peaceful they were. And I found that, and I told the people that I was reading, I shared with them that I've been getting a lot of messages from loved ones, from people, and their message is to really enjoy the moment and look at everything and
Right.
appreciate. It doesn't have to be big. It could just be like you said, looking at a seashell and thinking about how long that seashell, he was rolling around in the ocean and then it
Right.
landed on the beach, and looking at how it's formed, and just beautiful, the color of it, the feel of it. We forget to do that because we get so caught up in life
Right.
and what else you need to do and the next thing. And I know for me that's a big thing. And I try to remind myself to take those moments, and even with your
Right.
family, like take those moments with your family. And
Yeah.
I have to remind myself because I'm so focused on everything, and
Yes.
out the people around you, the things around you. It sounds like you kind of had that nice freedom when you were younger of exploring nature around you and being near that water is
Yes.
very powerful, right? I feel like that's
Yes.
an what is it, a conductor of
Right.
energy, and those waves, going in and out.
Oh, yeah,
Great.
and I have such amazing memories of, astral projecting where I'd shoot out the my parents' bedroom window, and I'd fly out over the Long Island Sound in my astral body, and it
Love
like,
it.
literally, when you're in your astral form, like, you just feel the wind flowing through you and times hearing melodies in the air. I have something called synesthesia. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like I have crossed and triggered senses, so they're all kind of interwoven. So basically, like if you say the number six to me, I immediately see the color forest green. I'll see like a pattern associated with it, either in my mind's eye or projected in front of me. And sometimes I'll even have music connected. So like all these things are kind of orchestrally coming together. But I'm glad that you were bringing up just finding the peace and enjoyment of the moment, especially with enjoying family and all of that. And for me, it's been a beautiful thing, like to see I have two redheaded daughters, and a very supportive husband. And they're all very supportive, and they're both psychic too. My daughters, in their
I'm
different
not
ways,
surprised.
yeah, and artistic and all of that. But it is just it's a amazing, exciting thing when you see different things getting carried down and flowing out naturally, but authentically to that person, because just experiencing their growth and them helping you grow. I mean,
Yeah,
I get so much help, even like when I'm creating art. Like I just last night, I'm like, come on. I said to my girls, you got to look at my painting and you got to give me a little critique, you know. Or my one daughter, both of them are amazing writers too. That definitely came through the genes, with the writing um, and all of that. But they'll help me with all. You know, does this sound like? Am I picking the right words and stuff? So it's a beautiful thing when you feel like the process is being carried down into your children, and then also feeling supported by your family, being able to
yeah,
take a step back and just breathe in and breathe out and enjoy the present moment and feel joyful. That's what I like to focus on with my clients too. It's like, find the joy.
yeah,
Make sure your inner voice is kind. Look in the mirror and see your highest, most illuminated self staring back at you, and let it cross over into you, and just own that, because you're a powerful goddess or god. You are limitless. You can do whatever you want. Just that whole idea of creating your own reality and being aware of all the possibilities that there are. Oh, you know what's like a really magical time for me with colors too? I don't want to forget to bring this up. Oh my God. Have you ever like gone out during, I'm sure you have, all the different twilights before sunrise? Like I enjoy sunset too, but I feel like the energy is so uh, inspiring and
magical.
exciting. It's just an adventure. You don't know what's going to happen depending on what twilight. I like all the twilights, but I think my favorite one is astronomical twilight, when that's the one where it's darkest, when the light is just starting to enter the sky. And then there's nautical twilight, the one in between, and then civil twilight is right before the sun comes up. But my favorite part is even before the sun comes up, because you can just feel the energy and the colors, and it just feels so healing and everything. There's magic everywhere we look, right?
Oh, it really is.
Within ourselves, nature, art, everywhere.
Everywhere, everywhere. As much as as much as I love the sun, and actually I have to do that because usually I'm not up. I mean, not that I sleep late, but yeah, that is something that I should experience. So yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
that.
I set the alarm if I'm not like nocturnally working through the night. So I'll like make a plan. So yeah, I had
Yeah,
to
I
do
think you
that.
have to, otherwise you're gonna miss it, right?
Right.
Um, uh, so Catherine Plants, she's on Facebook. She's amazing. She always takes pictures of. She takes these long walks, and she's always taking these gorgeous pictures, which I feel captures. Actually, she's on my website. I have a photo of hers on my website because I just love her work so much.
Oh.
And she just always captures that sunrise, and
Mm.
usually it's a sunrise, which is beautiful. And what else I was going to say, but she's so inspiring for me because I get to see it, and so yeah, I should do that. But I do love, as much as I love the sun and sunlight, I do love watching, like when you're out at night, and I
Oh
understand what you
yeah.
mean about that energy, and you see
Oh
those
yes.
stars.
Oh, the moon's
Oh
delicious with that. I love that. Yeah, soaking it
yeah,
all up.
we used to drive. I used to live in Brooklyn. We used to drive from Brooklyn out to the island to visit our my parents' friends, and that drive, I remember like laying there, 5 or 6. I'm laying in the car and I have a pillow behind me and I'm looking up at the stars, and it's just the stars showed up. So, it was less lights out there, especially way back then.
Oh yeah.
And it was just so beautiful and so comforting. So I understand what you mean. It's like it's dark and then all of a sudden this light appears. I also love the way you said, and that's why you're an artist, right? Is that you can see the number, like I'll say a number and then you see the color associated with it. And that's what enables you. And that's what I mean about poem. It's
Right.
like that's
Right.
what enables you to the art. It's funny because you're gonna laugh. So this is not a secret because Dawn Marie talks about it. But I don't know if you know Dawn Marie Delahunt. Do you know Dawn Marie Delahunt?
A little.
A little bit.
I know who you're talking about.
Angel Dawn Marie. Yeah, she had a baby recently. She's a couple years old, but I had seen her soul baby before. I just knew her. It was during COVID, and she was doing like a free Zoom once a week, and it was so nice to have that because not everybody was on Zoom yet. It was on the internet yet. And I connected with the baby and I kept seeing it. So every time I saw the baby, I would give her the message that was coming through, like she was meant to come. And Dawn Marie's older when she had the baby. So I don't draw. So I pretty much when I was when I draw stick figures with like the eyelashes and the like that. Like I just don't. I can copy things maybe, but as
Yeah,
far as I guess I've never allowed myself to
there's no rules in
not.
art. Like there's no
Yeah.
wrong way to do it.
Yeah, it's just not something that I guess I maybe experienced in school, but nothing that I practiced, I should say.
Right, right.
So I don't want to limit myself and say I don't do, but I'm trying to explain like I drew stick figures. So I remember being texting with her one day and we I'm telling her like I wish I could draw this for you because I see the baby, I see her, and kept seeing her at like 2 or 3 years old, like 2.5 years old. And she's like, draw it. And I'm like, draw it. You don't understand. Like, I draw stick figures. Like, that's not my thing. And she's like, try, just try. And I said, all right, I'll try. And drew the face, I drew the eyes, the eyelashes. I'm like, no. And then so I said, I can't do it. She goes, try again. I said, all right, let me try again. I had a pencil in my hands and I asked Spirit to guide me and help me draw this.
Mm,
And I swear my pencil was moving. I don't even know. It wasn't even me.
mm.
And
Wow.
it was like I'm the kind of person that because art is not like always perfect, right? You don't have to draw a perfect line.
No,
And
it's
I'm looking at
subjective.
the eye. I'm like, I would never do it that way. Like I would try to draw the eye more perfect because, like again,
Right.
I don't have any background with this. And her face appeared and
Mm.
looked just like when she was born. It was the same shaped face, and now that she's older, it looks just like her.
Wow, that's powerful.
And for me, that's a big deal because
It
I
is a
know for
big
you,
deal.
you probably could do that, but it's not something that I do. It's like, somebody, I don't know, like building a house and they never built a house before. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me,
That's
that's a
very
big deal. And I'm
exciting.
like, yeah. So it was awesome. It was an amazing experience. And it really helped me understand that this is real. Like I didn't do that. I know I didn't. I did not draw that face. And allowing spirit to help me and all of that, like understanding that we have to ask also, like we have to ask for, you know, I feel like for me, I always want to be the most accurate and I want to give the most evidential mediumship that I can when I do a reading. And I try always for that. And so, asking for that, like I forget to ask. So again, like practicing and doing all of this is important because we learn more as we go. We learn our signs, our symbols with our spirit guides, and it's just great. I just love it. I'm so grateful to be in this, in the space that I am now and to understand things. And I'm always learning and growing. And just hearing I mean, some of the things that you do. So now when you say that you're like a visionary artist, a spirit like visionary artist is more because you're seeing it in your mind's eye. Is that what you mean by, or just like seeing it in the future? What does that mean when you say visionary
Well,
artist?
thanks for asking. Because I feel like visions come to me in different ways, right? Whether I'm channeling and transmuting the psychic energy or the energy from music or nature or the storm rolling in, in that way. And also in other ways, I'm experiencing the process. So it's coming through in whatever way it needs to. So that's how it's flowing out. I'm
Love it.
having a vision, whether it's from my dream world or my imagination. I definitely feel very appreciative of my ability to enter my land of imagination. That's something that I like to help my students with too, because yes, you can create your reality, you can visit your spiritual garden, you can tap into your power, you can do all these things, but creatively you can also, I love to do, one of my favorite meditations that I've done is where I guide people into that realm and they go through that portal into their imagination. And it you don't know what, it's so exciting, it's uncharted territory, right? I mean, anything could happen, anything could flow through, and talk about pure magic.
Oh
It
yeah.
Right. I mean, I was always so drawn to, Salvador Dali and the landscapes he would create. I actually watched this documentary where he was speaking, and they showed he did like a little boat ride through his neighborhood, wherever in Europe it was, where the different stone like monoliths were, and the red clay landscapes and everything. And I'd only seen this documentary recently, but I'd seen the art that he had transformed into other realms many times. So all of a sudden, I'm realizing, oh my God, like he took the different things from his environment, but he transformed them, transformation, and he did it in the most authentic way, specific to him. He conjured this realm, but for him, that was his reality. That's how he was perceiving it. So it was just so powerful to think, no matter what it is that you're looking at, there's no wrong way to perceive it. That's something I really enjoy when I'm creating something and I have someone looking at my art and experiencing my art, because they'll say, oh, I see this, or I feel this way. And
Yes.
even though that's not how I'm perceiving it, or not how
No.
I'm feeling from it, that's okay. It's like, I'm just so honored that I've evoked that emotion and
Yeah.
that experience. Someone's taking a journey through my art. They're creating their own story. And then they can do that for themselves. They could do whatever they want, in any way, in any shape or form, creating their own story. Whether it's imagining themselves already in that moment of success, or spiritually at their best, or whether it's them creating a beautiful painting, or whatever it is that they want me to help them with, just gaining awareness of their imagination or their energy and how to move it around and orchestrate things. um, yeah, I think that there's so much that I'm still learning, and it's just it's definitely an exciting time for me. Like you mentioned before, sometimes you find yourself doing things you never imagined yourself doing. You
Yeah.
just felt led there because you
Yeah.
needed to, and because you
Yeah.
needed to for you, and you needed to for others, and that's it's really um, a very satisfying, fulfilling point to have reached in my life, where I feel like I've raised my awarenesses of what the needs are for myself and others to such a point that it's taking me on journeys, and I'm going into uncharted territories. My favorite thing to do, because
Yes.
yeah,
Discover. I can see that. You like love to learn and explore. And yeah.
yeah, I want to have adventures. I love going off on my own, and just even having it just completely. I'll just, even just last night, I went out dancing by myself, or I'll go and have a little experience out in nature, and on Sanibel Island, I'm hiking, all day all by myself. Just, I'm in the zone, whether it's your flow state creating, or you're in this place, like, find your blissful place, find your
I
happiness,
love that.
right?
Blissful. That's a great
That's
word.
it.
And that's it. I feel like your experience is almost like you're pulling it all in and then you transmute it into or translate it into your paintings or your work.
Thank you,
That's
Angela.
what I'm seeing. And that's why you need to be alone when you do it, because you're focusing on what's around you. You're feeling it. It's almost like a meditation in some ways, but in a way that is creative in the way you do it,
Thank you so
in your
much.
special way. This is
Thank
why
you.
I love this. I mean, it's so amazing and to learn, and maybe people will do that themselves. Like maybe whatever piece they decide to take from this is something that, like, now I want to go and look now in the morning, and I want to experience that. So,
Oh,
and that's what it's all about. It's something that resonates with them, and each person, like you said, just like with your paintings, when they look, when they watch this, they're going to say, well, I resonate with that, and I resonate with that,
right.
and that's what's going to stand out to them. And it's very helpful to people when they kind of, or maybe like, oh yeah, I do that already, I didn't realize it, and I didn't look at it that
Yes,
way,
that's right.
you know because we do things that we don't even realize and we don't understand, but we just don't know
Right.
why we're doing it. We just do it. But when we
Mm-hmm.
kind of understand it a little bit more, it's like, wow, okay, different insight,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps me and it helps you, and beautiful.
Thank you.
It's funny, really quickly, and I know we have to end soon, but um we could talk forever, I feel like,
Yes,
but
we could.
you were speaking about colors, and I was lucky enough to take one of Kim Russo, Kim Russo.
Oh,
She did,
okay.
yeah. I didn't. I mean, I'm just like grateful that I was able to take a class with her. But Kim Russo was, I forgot what show she did, but I think it was Celebrity something. But anyway, she's just amazing, and I was lucky enough to have a class. It was a couple of weeks, and she spoke about color and the chakras, And she said, if you feel like you need to ground more, then wear red, wear red underwear, or wear. It just was so cute the way she said it, and it stuck with me. And it's funny how each person, gives you something, right, that sticks with you.
Hmm.
If you feel like you need to open up your throat chakra, then wear like stones that are sky blue, or you know what I mean, like. So she was speaking about the chakras in each color, and you were speaking about the colors also. Uh, which I thought, well, obviously an artist, you're going to use that, but that's how you use it, and I loved how you did it. Look, even behind you, so beautiful. It's all like almost like a rainbow or colors. It's every color's all around you.
Uh,
I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh. I am so grateful that you came on. And I knew as I was sitting next to you, I just loved your energy. I loved how you read, like you had the runes and you had your beautiful painting, and it just was so beautiful
oh, thank you so
and
much.
colorful. And I loved the colors. It was very calming, the colors that you had that day that I met you. And I'm just grateful to share this with everyone. I'm grateful that you came on. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Like
you
I
so
said,
much for having me, Angela.
oh,
Thank
of
you.
course. And I just always, like I said, I feel like as someone listens to your story, they might find something that resonates with them and discover their own magic. So that's what it's all about.
Yes.
So, and I look forward to speaking to you more. We'll talk after we're done here. But thank you, thank you, thank you so much for coming on. You have such
Thank
beautiful
you.
magic, and you do share it, which is it's just love that in many different ways. And
Thank-
I see so much more for you. I do see a full book, like your book for you. Not that the chapter was amazing, but now this is the next step. That was, and again, I find that spirit lets us experience something and then keep going with it. And that's what I see for you. Your
Oh,
cards, your book. I just see so much for you, and you have so much to offer people. And that was
thank-
so a blessing for you to offer your story in that book, right? And help people and collaborate with your friends. I mean, I
yeah.
love collaborating. That's important. And that's what, you shine on your own, but you also shine even brighter when you gather people around you. So
Oh, thank you. And I think that's very insightful about the book because I really am writing a book to accompany my oracle for sure. So
yeah.
that's flowing out as it needs to yes. So you're right. You're spot on with that, Angela.
So it was like your step. I feel like it was your step to do that, to be asked to do that, that chapter, which is really important and
Right.
very, very
It
powerful
opened the
to help
portal.
other
Yeah.
people. And now it's now the next thing. Like it's almost
Hmm.
like with me saying that I had to do something and then I now I have to do it. It's like almost like, oh, I opened that and now I can do more because I did
Yeah.
it already.
Right. The
So
portal's wide open for
yeah,
both of us.
for a lot more learning and experiencing.
Yes.
I really thank you for sharing your beautiful story.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing more of your work and see what you do. I'm sure all of it's going to be amazing and exciting.
Right back at you. I'm excited too for you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you. And I will post how you can contact Jessica if you'd like to have a reading or whatever else, other services that she can offer you.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I hope that you resonate. And I thank you for coming on this segment of The Magic Within with
Oh,
Jessica
my
Robinson.
pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.